Good morning. I hope you have your coffee ready or whatever it is that you drink in the morning. And I hope that you just will take a few minutes with me to sit down and let's just kind of, get our head in the right place and our attitude in the right place and focus on better, okay? Wherever you are in your journey in life. My computer is booting up, so if you hear it, I'm sorry. Um, my day is getting away from me, and I need to get this done. Yesterday um, was a complete. Everything was just going along really nicely. Um, and then it wasn't. I was I was in the kitchen um, getting ready to make lunch for Ian and myself, and my husband called, and while we were talking, I got a call or a text from one of my cousins that her brother had passed away, and it just hurts my heart. We were all kids together. Um, they were not um, as close as some of my other cousins. Um, but it is the reality of getting older. Um, and I think I may have talked about this in another video, but all of my mother's brothers um, had juniors. That was a tradition they handed down from generations and generations back um, on my mother's side. Which gets fun whenever you start digging in a family tree because you run across the same name several times. Um, but all of my mother's brothers had a son that was a junior. And as of yesterday, they are all passed. And it's just been just a few weeks ago that my mother's oldest brother's son passed. And then it's just been a few months ago, I think might have been right after Christmas, that my Uncle Jack, which is another one of my mother's brothers, we'll talk about him a little bit more in time to come. Might share some stories with you about these wonderful people that I was blessed to grow up around and grow up with. Now, were they perfect? No. Is my family perfect? No. We are the biggest hot mess ever to be. But we're family. And as much of a mess as we are, there's a whole lot of good too. So, we love each other. And that goes above everything else. So let's get into the point of this because I've kind of introed a little too long. We're going to read out of the Celebrate Recovery devotional today. By our calculations, as I told you before, I skipped from devotional to devotional. You see the stack of books I have behind me. They've been neglected. I'm just going to be honest with you. I apologize. Kentucky allergies. We've been focusing on walking, audio, getting caught up on my audio Bible, getting caught up on just various different things. So the bulk of this has kind of been neglected. It'll cycle back through. Day 150 is the 6th step. I'm so sorry. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. James 4:10. Hi.
Hello. I got some good news, fans. I saved 4 flashlights out of the 8 I had, some of them had corrosion, so I just threw those out. Some of the ones that, I'll show you. Some of these had corrosion on them, so I had to throw those out. Although I managed to save 4 out of the 8 flashlights. Actually, no, it was 4 out of the 7 flashlights. I'll have to count again.
Okay.
Plus, I can swap any time to a flashlight. I can swap the valves every time.
The batteries.
The batteries every time. Plus, I have 3 spares. And the batteries that used to be in these flashlights were old Rayovacs. And one had knockoffs. This pink one's old batteries were knockoff, so I don't trust the knockoffs.
You like flashlights, don't you?
Yes, and these are good for air duty.
Yeah, you've liked flashlights since you were a baby.
Yeah, although there's no more I can fix currently.
Did you see if Papa could?
Well,
You need to put something on your lips. Your lips are chapped.
Yeah.
Don't lick them. Put some balm on them. Do you want your gummy?
Sure, why not?
Okay. We had to remedy some chapped lips. In some recovery material, Step 6 has been referred to as a step that separates the men from the boys. Make no mistake, it also separates the women from the girls. One of the reasons the 6th step is so daunting is that it asks us to allow God to remove all our defects of character. Not some, but all. Step 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Boy, there's a whole lot of them that I got. Most of us would be more than willing to have certain character defects go away. The sooner, the better. But let's face it, there are others that are hard to give up. I'm an alcoholic. But there came a time in my life, a moment of clarity, when I knew I had hit bottom and was ready to stop drinking. But was I ready to stop lying? Stop being greedy? Was I ready to let go of resentments, impatience, selfishness? I had been indulging in these things for a long time. Like weeds in the garden, the roots went deep. Sure, I could see what needed to be done, but could I allow the changes to occur? Each of us must find the answers to these questions. That place between recognition and willingness can be filled with fear. And fear can trigger old dependencies. It's essential that we accept God's help throughout this step. The prayer is, Father, I admit I am fearful and anxious about dealing with my character defects. I ask again for your help as I take this important step. In Jesus' name, amen. I don't know about you guys, but I have a whole lot of things that I need to fix with me. Especially in this, I've spoken about finally being a grown-up and going to the doctor and finding out that, there's stuff going on and starting to deal with it. And now listen to me. It would be super easy for me to keep eating the way that I was, to keep my family eating the way that we were. All of the takeout, all of that stuff. It became real easy to do. We would take for instance, taking Ian out to lunch. It would be a date. We had Date Wednesdays, and what that was, um, we ate cheeseburgers from, I think, Burger King. I can't remember now. But what we would do, because were busy, um, I would take Ian to martial arts. We would get done with martial arts and have to zip to the church to get him to play practice, Bible quizzing, whatever. And we gave up on getting him there in time to eat what food they had prepared, because it was just too hard. So at the same time, we realized that I wasn't eating. So it became Date Wednesday or Cheeseburger Wednesday. Okay? Um, am I saying that it's bad to have a cheeseburger now and then? No. But it became that bad meal every week. The carbs, the whole 9 yards. Um, I'm not sure that's better. I look darker than what I am. My curtain was over. So when we get to these steps, when we hit these steps, and I think that is, and I'm going to be honest with you, I am not currently attending actual physical meetings. That's in the future. That's whenever we restart back at step one, will be whenever I rejoin, if not before that. Right now, I'm working through some things by myself that need to be worked through with my physical health, with my, everything physically. I've got to, within my situation, and this may sound like I'm making excuses, I'm not. I'm working on me by myself. I have been for so many years, I get to where I have a good day, low pain, this, that, and the other. So I go hard from bell to bell, trying to get everything done, and end up back in pain. Well, this time I am doing my best, and trust me when I tell you that I wished I already had a whole lot of stuff done, because I do. And my garden is awful. My garden is the epitome of what this devotional talks about. There's lettuce, a few cabbage. There might be some beets. I haven't even been down there. There carrots. I mean, seriously. And the weird thing is that there's lettuce down there in my garden, but I'm buying lettuce from Kroger because I have not gone down to the garden to get it. And the reason is really simple. I don't want to take the chance of falling. And whenever we planted the lettuce, it hurt to bend over. Well, I started doing the physical therapy exercises. I had a tremendous shift in my body. There was a pop in my back. That's the only way I know how to explain it. It's been about, I guess, a week ago, maybe 2 now. I can't remember. But whenever it happened, it was so much relief, and it just, I literally cried, not boohoo cried, just tears of relief. And I have been sore, but that pain is gone, that really bad pain. But I am trying to be mindful of physically building my back up right, doing the right exercises, doing doing the stuff that I need to do, walking and this, that, and the other, because I don't want to go back to being in pain. That correlating back to what we just talked about with character defects. Impatience is a big one I've got to work on, that I keep working on, that I just can't seem to get under control. And when I say that, that doesn't mean we tend to, and like right now, I focus hard on my what I'm eating, my physical exercise and stuff like that. I'm not focusing so hard on my temper, my mouth, the impatience, the yucky part. I'm not focusing so much on that. And it should all be all of it. But it's overwhelming for us. That's why I have to get some help. I have to call on God and say, hey, help me with this. I just totally lost my train of thought. Bizarre. Anyway, so wherever you are in your journey, if you're looking at getting sober, if you're looking at improving an area of your life, while we have to do our own part, God can take all of it and help us tremendously. So we're going to give it to God today and take that 6th step and say, take these things from me. And that's all I got. I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't see the little numbers in my phone anymore. I got to get an eye appointment. I know I've been saying that I've got to do that this coming week because I've got to get some other things done. Anyway, y'all remember, I am the mayor's daughter. Take that 6th step. Don't be idle in your recovery, because the things, as you are recovering and growing in your recovery, the more that you grow, sorry, that looks like either I didn't blend it out good or it's separating. Whenever, for instance, when you decide to stop drinking, it was really big for me whenever I quit smoking. I didn't quit drinking when I quit smoking. Whenever I would drink, I would really want to smoke. And a lot of times I would, because the two went together for me for years and years and years. If I had a cigarette, I had a drink. If I had a drink, I had a cigarette. Okay? It's a lot of people will have, I replaced alcohol with a cup of coffee. See where I'm going? If I get angry about this is going to trigger this. I'm not real fond of the word trigger, but this is going to make me want this. The reason why I'm not fond of that is because we walk around in this life avoiding things because we don't want to be triggered. Avoidance is not dealing or coping, in my opinion. And when we avoid and don't deal, we set ourselves up for there's also a difference between say like this year, I had the option, and I've had the option for several years, but companies now are giving people the option to opt out of like getting Father's Day specials, Mother's Day specials, and things like that. This year, um, with a few places, I said, no, because it's hard for me. And not that I want to change, not that I don't deal with it, because I deal with it every day. It's not just on Father's Day that I deal with the grief of not having my father. I deal with it every single day. Because when things happen, I'm like, I want to tell Dad. I want to tell Dad. When something happens now, things, I call Mom or I text Mom or something. Um, but there's so much that Dad wanted to see, and it opting out of one thing that's going to remind me is different than just not dealing with it at all. Not dealing with it at all are the years that I just, Father's Day would happen and I'd just stay in bed or hide or whatever. Having, number one, I don't need a gazillion reminders that Father's Day is coming. So, that there's a difference in, but you can work on more things than one at a time. Um, in your sobriety journey, in your bettering yourself journey, whether you're quitting smoking, drinking, eating better, whatever, you can work on more things than one. And while you're putting in your part of the work, let God do His job, because He will. I'm back at step one with my temper and this. My mouth has been awful lately. So I'm back at step one with it. That's all I got for y'all today. Hope you enjoy our 6-step devotional, just chit chat. See you in the next video. I'm the Mayor's Daughter. Bye.